What if the love of your life walked away 40 years ago and then walked back in? Today, I'm sharing the extraordinary true story of Anna and Michael, two people who found each other in the summer of 1967, lost each other to the tides of life, and against all odds, found their way back. This is their story. Part 1. The beginning 1967. The year was 1967. Bell-bottoms were in fashion. The Beatles were topping the charts. And in a small Pennsylvania town called Riverside, 17-year-old Anna Kowalski was helping her mother set up folding chairs in the parish hall for the annual summer dance. She had dark, wavy hair that fell past her shoulders, and eyes the color of honey. She wasn't thinking about romance that night. She was thinking about college applications, about the scholarship to Penn State she was hoping for, about getting out of Riverside and seeing the world. That's when Michael Chun walked in. He was 18, about to start his senior year, with a shy smile and hands that were calloused from working in his father's hardware store every day after school. He'd been born in Riverside to Chinese immigrant parents who'd settled there in the 1940s, and he'd spent his whole life trying to make them proud while figuring out who he was in a town where his family was one of only 3 Asian families. Their eyes met across that crowded hall, over punch bowls and streamers, and something shifted. Do you want to dance? Michael had asked, his voice barely audible over Sam Cooke crooning from the record player. Anna looked at him, really looked at him, and nodded. They danced to What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, and neither of them said much. They didn't need to. Sometimes connection doesn't need words. Over the next few months, Anna and Michael became inseparable. They'd meet after school at Miller's Diner, sharing a chocolate milkshake with 2 straws. They'd walk along the Susquehanna River as the leaves turned gold and red that autumn, talking about everything, their dreams, their fears, their favorite books. Michael wanted to be an engineer. He loved taking things apart and putting them back together, understanding how things worked. Anna wanted to write. She filled notebooks with stories and poems, observations about the world that she kept hidden under her bed. You're going to be famous one day, Michael told her one October evening as they sat on the riverbank, their fingers intertwined. I'll read your books and tell everyone I knew you when. And you'll build bridges, Anna replied, squeezing his hand. You'll connect places that seemed impossible to connect. They kissed for the first time under the old willow tree by the water, and it felt like the world stood still. But the world was anything but still in 1967. Part 2. The Separation. By December, everything had changed. Michael's draft number came up. The Vietnam War was escalating, and young men across America were being called to serve. At 18, Michael received his notice. He was to report for duty in February 1968. Anna's family had other plans for her, too. Her father, a stern Polish immigrant who'd worked in the steel mills for 20 years, had saved every penny for his daughter's education. But he had conditions. Anna had been accepted to Penn State with a partial scholarship, but she'd need to live on campus, focus entirely on her studies. No distractions. Especially no distractions like a boy from a different background, a boy who was about to go to war. You have your whole life ahead of you, her father told her in January, his voice firm but not unkind. Don't throw it away for puppy love. Their last night together was February 14th, 1968, Valentine's Day. They met at their spot by the river, even though it was freezing, even though snow covered the ground. Michael wore his dress uniform. He looked older somehow, more serious. I'll write you every day, he promised, holding both her hands in his. Every single day, Anna. And when I come back... When you come back, Anna interrupted, her voice breaking, I'll be here. I promise. But promises made at 18 are fragile things. Michael shipped out to Vietnam in March. Anna started at Penn State in August. At first, Letters flew back and forth, his filled with carefully worded descriptions of base life. He couldn't say much about missions. Hers filled with stories about campus, her classes, how much she missed him. Then Michael's letters stopped coming. For 3 months, Anna heard nothing. She wrote to his parents, who told her tersely that Michael was fine but busy. She didn't know that Michael had been transferred to a combat unit near Da Nang, that he was experiencing things no teenager should experience, that he'd stopped writing because he couldn't bear to bring that darkness into her world. By the time his letters resumed in early 1969, something had shifted. They were different, shorter, more distant. And Anna had changed too. She'd met new people, expanded her world, and the sharp pain of missing him had dulled to an ache. In May of 1969, Anna met David at a campus poetry reading. He was a graduate student, safe from the draft, passionate about literature. Her father approved. By the time Michael returned home in 1970, thin and haunted and 22 years old, Anna was engaged. Michael never reached out. He heard through mutual friends that Anna was getting married, and something in him, something already broken by the war, broke a little more. He threw himself into his studies at community college, then at Drexel University, earning his engineering degree through a combination of the GI Bill and working nights. Anna married David in 1971. They moved to Philadelphia, where he taught at Temple University, and she worked as a copywriter while trying to write her novel on weekends. She thought about Michael, sometimes wondered where he was, if he was safe, if he was happy. But life moved forward, as it always does. Michael married in 1975 a nice woman named Patricia he met through his job at an engineering firm. They had 2 daughters. The marriage was good, stable, if not passionate. They built a life in suburban New Jersey. Anna and David had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. David got tenure. Anna's novel was never finished. Between work and raising kids, there wasn't time. She wrote articles for local magazines instead, taught creative writing at the community center. It was a good life, a full life. The decades rolled by like credits at the end of a film. The 1980s brought new careers. Michael became a senior engineer, overseeing bridge construction projects across the Northeast. The 1990s brought children graduating college, aging parents requiring care. The 2000s brought grandchildren, retirement planning, the slow accumulation of losses that come with middle age. David passed away in 2006 from a sudden heart attack. He was 60 years old. Anna grieved deeply. They'd been married for 35 years, raised a family together, built a life. Patricia died in 2010 after a long battle with breast cancer. Michael cared for her until the end, his daughters rallying around him. He grieved, too, quietly, the way he'd learned to grieve in Vietnam, by keeping busy, by not looking too closely at the empty spaces. By 2015, both Anna and Michael were in their 60s, living separate lives in separate states, connected only by increasingly distant memories of a teenage romance that seemed like it had happened to different people in a different lifetime. And that's where the story might have ended. But it didn't. Part 3, The Reconnection. It was March 2015 when Anna's daughter convinced her to join Facebook. "Mom, everyone's on it. It's how we stay connected," her daughter Sarah insisted, helping her set up a profile on a Sunday afternoon. "You can find old friends, share photos of the grandkids." Anna was skeptical. At 65, she'd never been particularly interested in social media. But she was lonely sometimes in her condo in Philadelphia, and the idea of reconnecting with old classmates was appealing. She started cautiously finding a few women she'd gone to high school with, joining the Riverside High School alumni group. People shared old yearbook photos, memories of teachers, news about upcoming reunions. And then, one evening in June, she saw his name. Michael Chun had been tagged in a photo from the class of '68 reunion planning committee. Someone was trying to track down old addresses, and there he was, older, gray-haired, but unmistakably him. Anna's heart did something complicated in her chest. She stared at the photo for a long time. Michael was smiling a small smile, but genuine. He looked distinguished in that way some men do as they age, with silver hair and laugh lines around his eyes. She clicked on his profile. It was sparse. He wasn't active on social media either. But she could see he lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, that he was widowed, that he had 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren. For 3 days, Anna debated. Should she send the friend request? A message? Would he even remember her? Would he want to hear from her? They hadn't spoken in 46 years. On the 4th day, she typed a simple message. Hi, Michael. I don't know if you remember me. Anna Kowalski from Riverside. I saw your name in the alumni group and thought I'd say hello. I hope you're well. She hit send before she could overthink it. Michael saw the message an hour later. He was in his home office, supposedly organizing files, but mostly just avoiding the emptiness of the house. His daughters wanted him to sell it, move somewhere smaller, but he couldn't quite bring himself to let go. When Anna's name appeared in his messages, he actually gasped. Remember her? She'd been the template against which he'd measured every relationship in his life. She'd been the face he saw in his dreams in those terrible months in Vietnam. She'd been the what-if that he'd carried for 46 years. His hands shook as he typed back. Anna, of course I remember you. How could I forget? How are you? It's been a lifetime. What followed was a conversation that stretched over hours, then days, then weeks. They messaged on Facebook, then exchanged phone numbers, then started talking, really talking in a way they hadn't been able to when they were teenagers. Anna told him about her marriage to David, her children, her grandchildren, about how she'd finally finished that novel at 60, and it was sitting in a drawer because she didn't know what to do with it, about how she volunteered at a literacy center and took watercolor classes on Thursdays. Michael told her about Patricia, his daughters, his career building bridges, about how he'd come back from Vietnam and never really talked about it, not even with his wife, not even with a therapist, about how he played chess online and was trying to learn Italian using an app. They talked about Riverside, about people they'd known, about Miller's Diner, torn down in 1989, and the willow tree by the river, struck by lightning in 2003. Do you ever think about that last night? Michael asked during one phone call in August. Valentine's Day, 1968? Anna was quiet for a moment. All the time, she admitted. I thought about you all the time, Michael, especially after David died. I'd wonder what happened to you, if you made it home from Vietnam okay, if you were happy. I wasn't, Michael said simply. I mean, I had a good life. Patricia was wonderful. My daughters are incredible. But I WSN single quotes T ... I don't know. Complete, maybe? I know exactly what you mean. Part 4. Climax and Resolution. In September, Michael did something impulsive for the first time in 47 years. He drove to Philadelphia. He called Anna on the way. I know this is crazy, he said, his voice nervous, but I'm 15 minutes from your place. I couldn't wait anymore. I need to see you. Anna looked around her condo in a panic, dishes in the sink, laundry unfolded on the couch. She was wearing sweatpants and an old college t-shirt. Michael, I'm a mess. The place is a mess. I don't care, he said. I just need to see you. When she opened the door, they stood there for a long moment, just looking at each other. He was 70 now, gray-haired, and wearing reading glasses pushed up on his head. She was 65, her dark hair now streaked with silver, laugh lines around those honey-colored eyes. Hi, Michael said softly. Hi, Anna whispered back. And then they were hugging, and Anna was crying, and Michael was saying, It's okay, I'm here. They sat on her couch for hours, talking in person the way they'd been talking on the phone. Michael held her hand, and it felt like coming home. I have to tell you something, Anna said eventually. I tried to find you once, after David died. I looked you up online, but I couldn't find much, and I didn't know how to reach you. I thought maybe you'd moved, or maybe you didn't want to be found, or maybe ... Maybe I was gone? Michael finished. I thought about you too. Every February 14th, I'd think about that night by the river. I'd wonder what would have happened if I hadn't gone to Vietnam, if you hadn't gone to Penn State, if we'd fought harder to stay together. We were kids, Anna said. We did what we thought was right, what our families wanted, what life demanded. But what if we'd been braver? Michael asked. Anna smiled sadly. Then we wouldn't have had the children we had, the grandchildren we love. We wouldn't have become who we are now. And maybe, she squeezed his hand, maybe we wouldn't appreciate this as much. Over the next few months, they dated like teenagers. Michael drove up to Philadelphia every weekend. They went to museums and concerts, walked along the Delaware River, cooked dinner together in Anna's tiny kitchen. They talked about everything, the good times and the bad, the regrets and the gratitudes. My daughters are worried I'm moving too fast, Michael confessed one evening in November, as they sat on her couch watching snow fall outside. My kids are thrilled, Anna laughed. They keep saying I'm glowing. Sarah says she hasn't seen me this happy since before David got sick. Are you happy? Michael asked, turning to face her. Terrified and happy, Anna admitted. I'm 65 years old, Michael. I thought I was done with romance, done with butterfly feelings, and staying up late talking on the phone. Me too, Michael said. But here we are. Here we are, Anna echoed. They kissed then, and it felt different from that first kiss under the willow tree 48 years ago. That kiss had been about possibility and youth, and not knowing what the future held. This kiss was about wisdom and second chances, and knowing exactly how precious and fragile love is. In December, Michael proposed. They were back in Riverside for the first time in decades, visiting for a high school reunion neither had planned to attend until they found each other. They stood by the river. The willow tree was gone, but the water still flowed the same way. I know we're too old for this, Michael said, getting down on one knee with some difficulty. I know people will think we're crazy. But Anna, I lost you once, and I'm not going to lose you again. Will you marry me? Anna laughed through tears. We're not too old for anything, she said. Yes, of course, yes. They married in a small ceremony in March 2016, surrounded by their combined 7 children and 8 grandchildren. Anna wore a simple cream dress. Michael wore a suit and cried through his vows. 48 years ago, I made you a promise by a river, he said, his voice thick with emotion. I said I'd come back to you. I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm here now, and I'm never leaving again. Conclusion. Today, Anna and Michael have been married for 9 years. They split their time between Philadelphia and Cherry Hill, surrounded by family, their walls covered in photos that span decades, Michael in his uniform, Anna on her wedding day to David, their children and grandchildren, and new photos of them together, gray-haired and happy. Anna finally published that novel at 67. Michael still plays chess online, and Anna has taken up painting. They volunteer together at a veterans center, helping other Vietnam vets tell their stories. Every Valentine's Day, they drive to Riverside and stand by the river, no matter the weather. Do you think we would have made it? Anna asked on their first Valentine's Day back together. If we'd stayed together in 1968? Michael thought about it. No, he said honestly. We were too young. We had too much growing to do, too many things to learn about ourselves. But I think we were always meant to end up here. 48 years later? exactly when we were supposed to. Their story reminds us that love doesn't have an expiration date, that sometimes the right person comes into your life at the wrong time, and the universe finds a way to bring them back when you're finally ready. That second chances are real, and it's never too late to reconnect with someone who mattered. If you've lost touch with someone you loved, maybe it's time to reach out. Send that message. Make that call. Life is too short, and also, as Anna and Michael prove, sometimes it's beautifully long enough for second chances. Do you have a reconnection story? Have you found someone again after years apart? Share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And if you enjoyed Anna and Michael's story, please like this video and subscribe for more real-life romance stories that prove love can endure anything, even time itself. Remember, it's never too late for love. It's never too late to come home. And as the years passed, their story became a quiet proof that love can outlast time itself. If you felt something watching this, like, subscribe, and stay with us for more timeless stories.